Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So today I'm finally getting around to giving you my thoughts on the Pat McGrath Luminous Legends. This is, I guess, the holiday duo palette. So this is part of her holiday 2024 collection. She came out with the mega palette, the two 5 pans, and then she came out with 3 duos. So these are $25 each. There's 3 of them, and each has obviously their duos. So they have 2 shades. So I've already swatched them, and they're 3. They're 3 different, very different duos. One of them I think is probably the one I would recommend, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And there's one that's kind of pretty common and also is a repeat shade from a previous palette. So I'm going to get into all of that. What I kind of did is, with these duos, especially like this one, I find very difficult to wear for myself. What I did is I just kind of put them, I went ahead and tried them on each eye kind of as single shadows. Yes, you could probably wear them as, 2 shadows, but I think especially like this one right here, the other 2 are a little easier. This one right here is a little harder because it's like a black and a gold, but so I just use them as single shadows. But I'll show you how they look on each eye, as single shadows. And again, you can use them as either single shadows or together, or, as addition to other palettes. But I have some thoughts on these, so we'll get into that right now. Okay, so from the Pat McGrath website, it states, discover the perfect balance of elegance and boldness with this tempting trio of divine duets, from the soft bordeaux and beige rose of Petallic Passion to the antique gold and chartreuse of Celestial Jade to the dramatic gold and black of Astral Noir. Each petite pair delivers intense color payoff for infinite powerful looks. Perfected by Pat McGrath, these creamy, blendable formulas glide on effortlessly. These duos are perfect for on-the-go artistry, making them the ultimate gift or glamorous treat for yourself. So there are 3. There is Petallic Passion, Celestial Jade, and Astral Noir. So let's get into. So here is Astral Noir, and this is the one that is the black and the gold. This is the one that I think is probably, in my opinion, the most difficult to work with if you aren't used to working with a black eyeshadow, and that would be me. So this is for me the most difficult one to work with. Then we have Petallic Passion. So I think this one is the easiest one to work with, but you have, pretty much like two rose shades right here. Very, very easy. And then Petallic Passion, this shade right here, is actually a repeat shade. So you might already have it. So I will talk about that in a second. And then probably my favorite of the 3 is Celestial Jade. So it's Celestial Jade is this one, and then this shade is Moonlit Gold. I think this is probably the one that is the most unique. I'm going to compare this shade to the Emerald Eyes from Charlotte Tilbury, the Pop Shot. I think it's similar. It's definitely not the same, but it's similar. So, this is actually cheaper and you get 2 shades, where this Pop Shot is $34. So I'll do a little comparison there, but there is a little, it's very similar to that, but I think this is probably my favorite of the 3. So let's get into it. Okay, so before we start comparing shades, I did want to show you some swatches that I did in natural sunlight. So the first one is going to be the Astral Noir. You have that gold and that black. Now that black does have some shimmer, but once it's swatched, you really don't see the shimmer as much. The next one is Celestial Jade, and then you see that sparkling soft gold and the Celestial Jade, which is the sparkling pale green. And then the last one is the Petallic Passion. So you have that crystal blossom shade, which is a pale platinum rose, and then the second one is the Petallic Passion, which is an iridescent bordeaux bronze. So those are the 3 duos from Pat McGrath. Again, they are $25 each. Now if you buy them, you can buy them online through Pat McGrath, and if you buy all three, it is, I think it's like $64, so it's a little bit cheaper. I actually got these on Ulta because if you want to look at my other two videos, you will see the drama that I had with the shipping from Pat McGrath. So I ended up canceling my order once they were on Ulta, and they were shipped, and I received them in 2 days. So, let's get into, so I'll say first up, the Astral Noir, I don't have anything to compare it to. So I don't have anything in this gold, and I don't have anything like this black. So this is, for me, the most unique of the three duos. However, this is the most, for me, difficult to work with, and the one I would probably not recommend, just because I know I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use this. It's just one that it's not, I'm probably not going to gravitate for it. So it's hard to work with. Now, first up is the gold. So this is me using the Blitz Gold. This is the Vivid 24 karat gold shade, and it looks really pretty on the eye. And then the next one is the Astral Noir. It's the sparkling black. And honestly, I think with playing with this, I think I could probably utilize this a little bit better. I think it's just a matter of I'm not used to using a black or dark shade like this. So I think with some practice, I can get to utilize this a little bit better. And I probably just need to watch some other people tutorials on how to use it. So I do think these are beautiful. And if these are shades that you like and know how to use, then you're gonna love it. But for me, it's just harder for me to work with, but I am gonna keep it. I am gonna try because I do really like these shades, and I think they are easy to work with, especially the black. It's an easy to work with black, sparkling black shade, but I just need to figure out how to use it for myself. Okay, next up is Petallic Passion, and this one I think is probably the most, I guess, common, and probably I don't think I would recommend this one for several reasons. So I think the shades are beautiful. So first up we have Crystal Blossoms, which is a pale platinum rose. So I put this one on the eye. I think as individual shadows, I think both of these look beautiful. So as an individual shadow, and I think also combined they would be beautiful. But the Crystal Blossoms looks beautiful as an individual shadow. And the second one, Petallic Passion, which is what it's named for, is an iridescent Bordeaux bronze. Now this one, again, as an individual shadow, looks beautiful. Now I didn't try to use them as two shadows on one eye, but I think considering that they're very, very close together, I think it would be very, very easy to use these on one shadow. Now, this is the reason why I would say I don't recommend it. So the first up, if you have the Pillow Talk Pop Shot. So I think it is very, very similar. So this is the Pillow Talk, and then this is the Petallic Passion. So the Petallic Passion is a little darker, but it's very similar. However, if you have the Sunset Romance Quint from last year, this is Petallic Passion. So this is Petallic Passion. It is the same exact shade. It is a duplicate. Again, same shade. Now this is the palette. If you have this Quint from last year, you have three shades. Three shades from this year's collection are in this palette. So you have Glowing Desire, which is in one of the Quints. Then you have Sun-Kissed Rose, which is also in the Mega palette. And then you have, I'm sorry, this is Sun-Kissed Rose right here. And then this is Petallic Passion. So three of these five shades are in this year's holiday collection. So I think in the Mega palette and even in the Quint, it's not such a big deal. But for the duo, if you have this, don't get this because you pretty much, and then honestly, if you're looking at the other shade, it's very similar. It's not that big of a difference, so don't get it. I think it's really pretty. This is, I think, the easiest one to use, but again, if you have this, don't get this. Okay, and the last one, which is the one that I think if I were to recommend one of the three duos, it would be this one, and it is Celestial Jade. And I think it's still pretty easy to use, but it's still a little unique. Not that unique, but a little unique. So you've got this beautiful Celestial Jade, which is described as a sparkling pale green. And then you have this Moonlight Gold, which is a sparkling soft gold. So here I am trying on the Moonlight Pale Gold, which on one eye, and you can see it as a single shadow, beautiful. And on the other eye is the Celestial Jade, which again, as a single shadow is beautiful. Again, I do think I could easily use these as, you know, two shadows on one eye, but even as single shadows, they are beautiful. Now, I did want to compare them to the two Pop Shots. So if you have Pop Shots from Charlotte Tilbury, they are the diamond eyes and the emerald eyes. I think they're very similar. I do prefer swatching. I'm going to tell you, I do prefer the green from Charlotte Tilbury. However, the green Charlotte Tilbury is going to be $34 for one Pop Shot, whereas this is $25. So, you know, go from there. So this is the one from Pat McGrath, and this is the Pop Shot from Charlotte Tilbury. And then here is the Celestial Jade shade, and this is the Pop Shot shade. So again, there's differences with both shades, but I think if you're trying to achieve this look, it's going to be very similar. And again, if you wanted to purchase these, but you didn't want to purchase, you know, you didn't want to pay $34 for one shade, but you wanted that green, then get this. You know, I think this is really great. You're going to get a very similar look. I do think the one from Charlotte Tilbury has a little bit more of a duochrome shade, but this is just as beautiful. However, if you have these, then don't get this, because it's going to be very similar. Okay, so here are my final thoughts for these duos. I think these duos are really nice for what they are. However, of the entire collection, this would be the last thing I would recommend. I really like the quints. I think the quints are beautiful. And honestly, I really love the Dawn Divinity. I think this is probably one of my favorite color stories of the 5 pans, if not my favorite. I think this is just so easy to use, just gorgeous, everything. And then the Starfall Seduction is definitely a very unique color story. Probably not my favorite, but still very pretty. The Mega Palette, which I do have here, is gorgeous. But, you know, if you just wanted to try the shadows and you wanted to get one, I would recommend Celestial Jade. Or if you really wanted that Pop Shot from Charlotte Tilbury, but didn't want to spend $34 on one shade, you can get 2 shades for $25, which I think is really great. And they are available at Ulta, which is even better. But I don't recommend getting all 3. I don't recommend getting all 3 because honestly, this is $75. This is $76. Totally not worth it. And then this is $75. And then this is, I think, comes out to $76. So again, and even if you buy both of them through Pat McGrath, it's $64. I think this is $64. And this is, you're going to get 10 shades. This is, you're going to get 6. And then this, you're going to get 15. So I think of everything, I recommend the Mega Palette. I think the Mega Palette this year is the one time I recommend it. I think it's fantastic. I think these are the ones I would least recommend. But if you just wanted to get like 2 shadows or you really wanted that green, then I would recommend that and I would get it through Ulta. For me, honestly, my favorite thing of the entire collection is going to be the Mega Palette. The Mega Palette, and that's a surprise for me. The Mega Palette is something that I normally didn't gravitate for, but I really love the Mega Palette this year. I think it's got like 4 mattes, but these versatile, unique, you know, shimmers that really make it a very versatile palette. So for me, that's where my favorite is. And then my second favorite of the collection is going to be the Dawn Divinity 5 pan. That's going to be it. And then if I were to recommend one of the duos, would be Celestial Jade. So that is my recommendation for the Pat McGrath Holiday 2024 collection. But again, I don't recommend using the Pat McGrath website. I recommend going either to Sephora or Ulta. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.